April the 18th, 2021, 8:31 in the morning, McRee Mill Road, just off of Barnett, Shoals. Let's see what the temperature is. As you can see, there's trash here on the side of the road. I'm going to pick it up before we get started down the road. 52 degrees in Watkinsville, Georgia. Now this is just an assumption, just a guess. I have no way of proving this, but I would think these people that threw this trash out right here, beer cans, this trash right here, when they turned off of Barnett Shoals and came down through here, they could have been some teenagers turning in up here at Ryland or going home and didn't want the trash in the cars, or they could just be throwing trash out. But it's a good bet. If these people went all the way through to Flat Rock, Oliver Bridge, when they rounded this corner and topped this hill that we're going to come up on, they probably hit the gas and were running 65, 70 miles an hour going down this hill and back up that other hill. But let me stop and get out and get that trash before we go on. Even had a couple of little shots to boost the high. Yeah, I don't know if you can see or hear that, but yeah, they even had a couple of little shots to boost their high. Of me, I don't know why somebody thinks they got to run 60, 70 miles an hour down this straightaway, but they do. And they do it regularly. Curve up there and you top that hill, and it's like they think they are at the Daytona 500 racing for the flag down that last straightaway. I'm sure y'all saw the sign, speed limit 55. My personal opinion, that's higher than it should be, but I think this is a state highway. I think the state sets the speed limits. These speed limits are probably set by people and legislators that never ride the roads and never know anything about how dangerous they are, whether it's appropriate or not. But deer cross this road down here, coming down that hill and up this hill all the time. That's both sides of the creek. Somebody running even 50 miles an hour, 50, 55, it's going to be very difficult for them to avoid the deer. If you're running 65 or 70 and that deer comes off out of that ditch, there's nowhere to go but to hit the deer and go in the ditch. And so if they choose to do that type of stuff, don't ask me to be sorry for them, and when their consequences come back down on them. Now we're going to to turn this off at the stop sign. I'm going to drive Flat Rock to 15 and then 15 into Watkinsville. There's controversy about the speed limits. I think the speed limit at 45 is fine. People think it ought to be higher. It's not like this is a 100-mile stretch. This is a 3-mile stretch. Google Maps says 3 miles. I'm going to check it this morning with my odometer. I've checked it before. It shows 2.8 miles. But I do have two oversized tires on this van, so the odometer and the speedometer are both skewed a little bit. I could calculate how much, but I'm not going to go through their charts that show you how much even, but I'm not going to do that. I would think maybe a couple of percent, a couple of miles per hour. I'm going to start a stopwatch as well. The dogs. And get up to 45 miles an hour, try to stay consistent at 45, and drive it, and then drive into Watkinsville. Okay, I've just started the stopwatch. Again, this is April the 18th, 2021. Is this April or April? Which is correct? We're on Flat Rock from the four-way. We're going to get up to 45 miles an hour and drive to 15 and then into Watkinsville. Now at 3-mile stretch, if you're running 60 miles an hour, it's going to take you 3 minutes. If you're running 45 miles an hour, it's going to take you 4 minutes and 30 seconds. If you're running 30 miles an hour, it's going to take you 6 minutes. That's easy to compute. Now, you've got to calculate, or you've got to consider all of the factors in your time if you're going to save any time. If you come out at Oliver Bridge and turn left onto Flat Rock and you're coming down to 15 and somebody pulls out in front of you at Kirkland here and they're driving slower, how much time are you actually going to save? You're not going to save that 3 minutes from the 30 to the 60. It'll be less than that. So depending on where you come on to Flat Rock and whether there's somebody in front of you or not is going to determine how much time you save from point to point. But point to point is not the only factor. When you're driving a vehicle, the faster you drive it, the quicker stuff wears out. Brakes, shocks, pretty much everything. So if you're going to figure a savings or calculate savings and or money, you're going to have to consider more than that. Time in the shop, cost in the shop, time going back and forth to the shop, not just a point to point. Personally, I think 45, I don't see why anybody would need to run any faster than 45 miles an hour on Flat Rock. All these driveways and homes. And there again, how much time are you going to save? When you get up here to this stop sign, Monday through Friday, rush hour traffic, you're not likely to be able to turn right out onto the roads. If you pass somebody right around Kirkland, or where you can legally pass, you get up here to this stop sign, you run 60, 65 miles an hour up to the stop sign, you have to wait for 2 or 3 cars to get by. Guess what? The car you passed has just pulled up behind you. You haven't gained anything. And when you turn right, and you head down Highway 15, you're running 60, 65, 70 even, depending on the traffic. And you get up to Watkinsville at the intersection of 441, 129, and 15 there at the Golden Pantry. If it's rush hour traffic, you're not getting through that light. you're not just going to drive through that light even if it's green. You're probably going to have to sit at least one light. Well, guess what? That person you passed on Flat Rock has just caught up with you again. You haven't saved 1 second. But you're too oblivious to what is going on in front of you, what you've got to do, where you've got to go, to be aware of all of your surroundings and actually realize that that person you passed has just got up on your bumper, or a couple of cars back, depending on. Okay, the odometer is showing 2.8 and 4:05, or right at 4 minutes on the stopwatch. Now we've turned right on Highway 15. We're going to speed up to 60, which is 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. Running 50, 55. This is the speed limit. I don't know why anybody thinks they need to run 60 miles an hour. We're running 60 miles an hour now. There again, how much time are you really going to save? Not point to point. This isn't a 100-mile drive. I'll grant you, if you're running 100 miles on 75, you're running 10 miles an hour faster. You're going to get a little bit further down the road. But this, I'm running 60, speed limit is cut back to 45 here. I'm going to cut back to the speed limit. Great blue heron over there. Down to 50. By the time I get to the speed limit sign here, with the city limit sign here, I'm going to be running 45. Stopwatch is at 5:25. And we're coming into town at 45. Now on the rush hour traffic, it's going to be different from this. This is Sunday morning at 8:30, 8:45. And even running over the speed limit, I picked up a bumper car behind me. The speed checker here shows I'm going 46, 45. These railroad tracks are pretty smooth. The speed limit shows drop down to 35. I'm going to drop down to 35. Also, the speed of the tracks, I was actually at 30. Coming up on this red light, you've got traffic sitting up there now, even on Sunday morning. No rush hour. Sunday morning. We're going to turn into the Golden Pantry. We're going to stop the stopwatch. 6:45. Well, we didn't make the. I'm going to turn in here to the right. Six minutes, 45 seconds to get to the Golden Pantry from the four-way at Oliver Bridge, McRee Gin, and Flat Rock. Now, even on Sunday morning, you've got traffic backing up right here. I say, all things being perfect for you, you'll save a little time every day, but not much. If you need to get somewhere that much faster, I would suggest you leave just a little bit sooner. Get up a little bit sooner. But if you consider all the factors that go into how much time you're going to save or lose, how much money it's going to cost you, I'm pretty sure you're going to find out it's not saving you any time, but it's going to cost you more money. Maybe even cost you time. But that's not scientific. My opinion is not scientific. And I know nobody's going to go to the trouble to actually do all of that. And I know this is not going to change anybody's mind or their opinion. If you think Flat Rock ought to be 60, then you're going to think that and you're going to drive it. If you think it should be 30, you're going to think it and you're going to drive it. So, I don't know how much good this will do. This is, but it is what it is. and hope y'all enjoyed it for what it is, entertainment. I'm going to upload it to YouTube, then share it to Flat Rock.